We don't need a Toy Story 5, guys. Can you just not focus on that and more focus on other projects besides that?
Do not get me started.
I like the fact that she just started to just spurt out his water from there. Everyone like Gwen, sorry. I should have said that. Why don't everyone like Gwen? Because like she's like that one person, the goth. I guess everybody likes her for some reason. But then like everyone hated Courtney, which I'm like, but I'm the one who's the underdog.
I'm not a fan of her.
I'm the underdog
myself,
person who
so.
likes. I'm the underdog person who likes
myself.
Courtney. So I'm like, I would rather prefer her. And also, something tells me that there are gonna possibly be reoccurrences of like the old, like the TV shows that we've been loving recently, like Amphibia and the Owl House. So Amphibia, what if Marcy does come back and actually host the Chibiverse? You're gonna love that.
Yes.
Oh my god,
yes.
you guys gonna love that.
My favorite Calamity Girl hosting it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to our first ever live stream podcast of the Anination Podcast. My name is Nate. Omid is currently on my right side right here. But, guys, this is our first time we're ever doing it live because we've always been doing, like, podcasts via video, right? We've been doing the LoudCasa Talks via video, but now it's finally time to change things up, talk about a bigger subject, and this time around, talk about animation live together. This is going to be fun.
Yeah,
for sure.
This is something that was in the works for a long while. Like, we've had experience doing podcasting and stuff like that, related to talking about, Loud House and Casa Grandes and all that stuff. But however, like this time around, we're going to expand upon it. This is going to be an expansion of pretty much our love and spirit, our dedication to talking about animation. Like, this is going to be LoudCasa Talks increased tenfold.
Especially since the fact that we love animation so much, the reason why we wanted to bring this podcast together. Welcome to our first episode.
Yes.
To bring things all together, So one thing I also want to bring up is the fact that, Omid and I, we've been friends for a very long time. I really kind of wonder, how the heck did we even meet up? Was it just because of just fate, or... I forgot. How did it begin? How did it begin between both of us? Like, how did this whole animation podcast or anything in the podcast thing or all of this adventures come to mind,
I guess, so the first time we met, right, it was actually through my brother.
Yeah.
Because here's a fun fact for y'all. Like, this dude was part of the junior varsity basketball team for a, middle school, like for a K through 12 school, along with my brother, who also went at that time. They were both teammates for a junior varsity basketball team. And so I got to meet this guy through my brother during one of those times when we were hanging out, and we've hit it off ever since.
I think it was weird because, like, the first time I met you, your brother showed me to you, and I think, like, all the things I talked about with you, you started to get like a liking to anime, for example, cartoons, and now every time I talk to you about cartoons, now you're liking it too. You know?
It's it's sort of like this big little brother idolizing the big brother thing, sort of thing. Like, I've always considered this guy like a big brother mentor to me, like an older brother figure. So
that's like an honor because, like, you have a brother yourself, but he's in Vegas right now.
Like, I have a brother myself. I love my brother, but you're my big brother through our love for animation and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And this other guy's like my older brother biologically, and we share our love, of course, for this beautiful team out here, the team that won this weekend.
Why are we bringing up the Raiders here all of a sudden? What's going on?
We will talk about it later.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. But I mean, what other things have I talked to you about? We've always talked about, like, conventions we go to, like Fanime, for example. Then we started going to Fanime a lot. I think, like, recently, right now, we've been hanging out talking about, like, certain cartoons. Like, we've been hooked about Disney TVA right now, like Amphibia, Owl House. Now they're both gone, and now we're actually talking about, like, other things besides that. When it comes to, like, animated movies, for example, we're both watching the same thing, which is, like, pretty cool. So, yeah, we both have the same interests. So
pretty much.
Yeah, it was quite interesting, like, having to meet up between me and Omid. But in the end, is that how we met? Do you want to emphasize more about how we met and all?
So pretty much. So what happened was that during that time, I've started to take an interest in watching anime when I was a freshman in high school because I've visited like briefly a video game anime club in the high school that I used to go to, and I thought to myself, okay, like I'm a huge gamer. Like I've been a video game fan. I've been a huge gamer for years. I thought to myself, if I love video games, then why not go for anime also? So I'm just like, and so I started looking over like, okay, what is the best anime to start with, and I went with Bleach, and I love.
That's right.
And of course, like I was really, when I was in high school, I remember being so big into Bleach.
And what was your favorite character again? Rukia?
Yes.
Oh my god, yeah. I think everybody who was like a Bleach fan back then really loved Rukia Kuchiki, like Ichigo Kurosaki, the main five that people were out there for. People like Orihime too, but then she started to like fall off the cliff because people didn't like her in the recent like Bleach, for example.
Oh, and by the way, no, I have not seen the 1,000-Year War arc. So.
Oh my god. Oh.
No, I mean,
look.
I mean, I've seen some of it, but I haven't caught up on it.
My thing right now is like the 1,000-Year War looks really great. I know it's supposed to end Bleach, but the thing is like you have to really think about that. Please watch it if you can. Please watch it if you can, because like it's actually gonna be pretty hype for what.
Like I can see why it's the hype, because it's the return of Bleach ever since like the past decade. So.
Oh yeah, it definitely is.
So I definitely see why it's a major comeback.
Of course. Now, is that all you want to bring up when it comes to when we met? But I think.
And also, we've also bonded through. I remember we bonded through Total Drama Island.
Oh my god, that's right. That's a show that's something like lost in our memories, because like the show has been completely. I wouldn't say gone, because they have another show coming out for Total Drama Island.
Yeah, but I haven't touched the 2023 one, but
that came out in Canada. It's not here it's not here for Cartoon Network yet until probably fall.
Yeah,
I don't know the whole situation with Cartoon Network right now and the WB.
But from what I've seen, like from what I've heard from people, it's not really that much of a hype. So.
Oh, I see.
We prefer the old cast, so yeah.
I mean, to be fair, like okay, that's another thing we can also bring up. Total Drama Island. Remember, we had that little rivalry between which one of our favorite characters is.
Yeah, I remember.
Why do you like the goth? I like the CIT. What's wrong with the brunette girl? I mean, she's amazing.
Nah, man, it's just like Gwen stands out to me with her artistic style, her attitude, her character development and all that stuff. She just stands out to me like the most. She's really cool.
Why does everybody like Total Drama Island for some reason? I mean, why does everyone like Gwen? Sorry, I should have said that. Why don't everyone like Gwen? Because like she's like that one person, the goth. I guess everybody likes her for some reason. But then like everyone hated Courtney, which I'm like, but I'm the one who's the underdog.
I'm not a fan of her.
I'm the underdog person who likes Courtney. So I'm like, I would rather prefer her and everything else. Nonetheless, I mean, the best character though is Noah. Okay, he's the best boy. He's the best boy. I know a lot of people don't like him in TDI, but then he is amazing in Total Drama World Tour. We're getting off topic here, but we're gonna have a lot of these like conversations coming up. This is like a small little preview of what we're gonna be doing for the podcast and all. So like some amazing shots and stuff like that.
Yeah, and we bonded over many anime shows, many cartoons, many video games. We're both gamers too.
I think the latest game we played was like Mario Party. And then again, we both are like Mario Party fans. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. We've had our Mario Party matchups. We've had our interesting Mario Party matchups, man.
Dude, we lose to the computer. You know how sad that is?
I know. It's like, how do we lose to a freaking CPU? It's like,
I know.
Why can't a human
NPC beats us and all, or a bot or something like that. God. Oh yeah. Are we supposed to be that good when it comes to like all Mario Party games? I guess not. But this guy I know is huge into Nintendo. What do you think is the reason why he's been like into Mario, for example? He's wearing the red hat right now. So
hey, the red cap speaks for itself. Okay, so yeah, man.
But yeah, I mean, like, we can have a lot of stories about how we met up. It's just been like a crazy ride. And now that we're making this podcast, I just feel like we're definitely going up another level,
Yeah, definitely. Like pretty much throughout the years, I feel like our friendship, the more we stayed friends throughout, we've been friends since 2009. So it's been like, over a decade. The more we stayed friends, the more I feel our friendship has evolved. And so, like, it's evolved to a point where it's like, well, here we are doing this podcast.
Exactly. So the thing is that we've worked on a podcast before, the LoudCasa Talks, and fortunately we had to actually cut the cord, or I don't know how to say that, cancel the LoudCasa Talks, because first off, we have nothing to talk about anymore when it comes to Loud House or the Casa Grandes. First off, one show's gone, Casa Grandes, 3 seasons in, and yeah, it's pretty sad. Omid is sad about the fact that the Casa Grandes has ended, but for now, the Loud House has been continuing on, thriving. I don't know what other topics we can actually bring up when it comes to the Loud House right now. So that's the reason why, like, you know, we don't know what to bring up. Like, I guess we can do episode reviews, but that's a different story. That's not like a Loud Casa Talks thing. Remember, we've always been hitting when it comes to like big stories of the Loud House or the Casa Grandes. Remember Lenny's love interest, Carlota, who is she? You know, like, oh, sorry, what was it? Maria Casagrande. I mean, Maria Santiago. Who is she? You know, what's the dark secrets and stuff like that. We've been doing like all these like all these like stories that we always want to like make it like an hour, 2 hour long discussion. But right now, we have nothing to actually bring up. So that's the reason why we like took like 3 months off since the last time we got on air.
Yeah, needless to say, we've been on quite a hiatus, and you know, during the hiatus, we've been pretty much, you know, doing our thing, you know, keep it busy ourselves and all that stuff with our lives, and of course, from time to time we have hung out, but because of this podcast, we're gonna make, you know, like, we're gonna make this a weekly thing, and because it's gonna be a weekly thing, I'm able to see this guy more.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why, like, every Wednesday we come on air, we'll stream here, but then on YouTube you'll go to see like all the highlights that we're going to have. Nonetheless, I want to say this though. How are you feeling about the Loud House and the Casa Grandes right now? I mean, the Casa Grandes are pretty much over, but the Loud House continues on. But how are you liking the show right now? Because like I said, we don't have nothing much to talk about, but we can still at least recognize that the Loud House is still good.
Oh yeah, the Loud House. The Loud House still continues to be so funny. It still continues to be heartwarming. It still continues to be creative. Like, and the animation is, you know, so golden. Like, it still pays tribute to like these Sunday morning comics. Like, everything about the Loud House is, you know, still so wholesome, but just so great to watch. It's still one of my favorite cartoons to this day. It's still one of my favorite shows.
I still say it's definitely something that we can like talk about, but we're probably gonna be talking about it in an episode of the Anination Podcast, because look, we're gonna be tackling so many subjects and everything when it comes to this brand new podcast. It's just that when it comes to the Loud House and Casa Grandes, we don't have much to talk about. So that's why we want to try to at least bring up as much as we can here. But yeah, I mean, I'm so sorry that folks kind of were sad about the fact that we're not doing episode reviews anymore. We'll try our best to actually add it on to the podcast if we can. But I know some people were kind of sad. I've seen like some of the comments that had in our Twitter. People are saying like, why did you take off the LoudCasa Talks? Why didn't we have the LoudCasa Talks? Where has that review been? You know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I have to say that it's just tough for us. I mean, you work, I work. We're all busy. we're in our 30s right now, and we're just talking about animation. The thing is, like, dude, we're busy in our lives. We can't really edit stuff here and there. That's why it makes it like kind of crazy for our lives.
Yeah,
know?
People, there's a little thing called adulting. Okay.
Yeah. we're all facing through that right now. Okay, so yeah, that's why we kind of stopped it.
To quote Doofenshmirtz, it's called adulting.
Phineas and Ferb was a good show, by the way.
Phineas and Ferb, hot take. Not a huge fan of Phineas and Ferb. I mean, I was a fan like back in my early college days, but I got a bit tired of its repetitive shtick. Like, it got old for me fast. But I definitely see why Phineas and Ferb has such a cult fan base, a large cult following. Like, Phineas and Ferb did help change Disney Channel for the better, and I do appreciate Phineas and Ferb for that. So, like, thank you, Phineas and Ferb, for that. And if you're a fan of Phineas and Ferb, I'm happy that it holds a special place in your heart. But for me, there was a time where it did, but I've seen shows I love more.
You've seen better to say.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and let's move on to what happened just recently for both of us, actually. We're currently over at a vet. We went to Las Vegas. There's a reason why we actually did put something in the middle of this table here. Some Raider thing happened here. That Raider Niner game. What more can you explain?
Needless to say, we crushed him. We crushed you guys in that game, and I couldn't be happier. Like, oh my God, this was such a grand, like, Raider Niner experience. Not just because we beat you guys, but also because of the fact of like the atmosphere, the fact that there were Raider Niner fans like divided. And of course, Allegiant Stadium is still the best sports venue I've been to. Oh, and of course, I won some money.
Oh yeah, this dude actually ended up winning like how much would you have to say?
I won like about $50 more.
$50 more.
Like
okay.
I placed $30 for them on Raiders to win, and they did win, so I got back like about like $80 total.
Nice. Okay. I gotta say this though. Yeah, for a Niner fan like me, it was definitely the worst day of my. Well, I wouldn't say the worst day of my life. Sorry, I would say like the worst day ever, like in a preseason game, because the Niners definitely were bad. The hell, my freaking quarterback Trey Lance, for example, he did not do well. I'm so angry about that.
You only scored one touchdown, man.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. The score was 37-7. This guy dominated. He ended up actually putting a bet on the Raiders in that one, and he ended up winning like some good money out of that. It definitely did hurt for us Niner fans. We actually had to travel all the way from the Bay Area to, the very hot Las Vegas to say. And to be fair, like coming back, it's hot. It's hot today right now.
Oh yeah, like honestly, like we were baking in Vegas. It was that hot up to the point where we were like baking. Like it was about like triple degree weather. When we come back to the Bay Area, we've realized that while it is cooler, it's not really that much better.
Yeah.
Like we still have our fan on here as well.
Yeah, I know. We have to actually keep on our fan here. Like, it's not pictured, by the way, but there's a fan literally right on the side just to keep us cool here while we're doing a recording tonight. Yeah. But you know what though? I mean, even if the game was kind of like one-sided with the Raiders, at least we had a fun time. All of us hanged out together. Just us friends together. I mean, it's kind of cool. Like in this picture right here, you get to see you and your bro sitting down together, and then us Niner fans are on one side too.
Yeah.
So there was that.
The division's right there, man.
Yeah. But besides that though, I mean, the thing is that what's best about these kind of times hanging out with a friend, for example, like this. So people that don't know, I'm actually hanging friends with Omid's brother since what was it?
Junior
high. See, so it's been over 20 plus years since I hanged out with. It's been over 20 plus years since I know Omid's brother. But we've been having a cool connection together. Both of us just chilling. I know that he's over in Las Vegas having his own life. I'm having my own life here in the Bay Area. But it's just awesome just to have like a sit down together with both of us, just chilling. Watching a game that ended up being one-sided, which sucked, by the way. But yeah.
Because if it wasn't for this guy, I wouldn't have met this guy.
Oh, yeah, see? Exactly. So he's the bridge, by the way. He was the bridge, actually, that ended up having to have both of us all together and all. So, yeah.
Definitely.
But, yeah, besides that, I mean, Las Vegas was still fun for both of us, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So, like, what other things did you want to bring up from the Vegas trip?
Well, I wanted to bring up the fact that we ate at some really good places in Vegas. Of course, I would highly recommend Hash House of Go-Go if you're ever in the mood for brunch.
That was a good place to eat. But then again, Hash House of Go-Go is like not here in the Bay Area, I think. I don't know.
If you're ever in a Vegas trip, let's say you're in a Vegas trip, the place I recommend, of course, like Oyster Bar, if you're in the mood for seafood, is probably the best seafood I've ever tasted. There's also Hash House of Go-Go, really good brunch. I got the chicken and waffles, and Egg Slut.
Oh, egg. I gotta thank your brother for Egg Slut, by the way. That was a really good like breakfast sandwich. But I remember like Egg Slut also was in Seattle too. So if anything, that was like my second time eating it. And then Las Vegas never disappointed, by the way, when it came to the food over there. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like Vegas always has the best hot spots over there. So. Oh yeah. And also. There's also the fact that we met a
that's right.
legend. We met a legend.
That. Yeah, we did. We met up with So this is another thing. We also did meet up with a former player who doesn't play in the football NFL league anymore, Michael Crabtree. If you don't know that name, he was both a Niner. First off, he was a Niner wide receiver who led this team into Super Bowl 47. And then he also did play for the Raiders literally like a couple years after he was a Niner. Nonetheless, he was both a Niner and Raider, and he actually welcomed both fans over. I just remember the crowd. Remember when we were just waiting in line? There's people who were saying Niners, Raiders, and all that. Oh my god!
It was so fun. Like I said before, it was the best weekend for me in terms of Raiders and Niners rivalry because you get to see the fun banter between both sides.
It's just really funny to actually have. The thing is, like, I'm gonna be saying Niners and everything, and then you're just saying Raiders all the time. I just feel like in that line, a lot of Raider fans are obviously out there just because, hey, it's local, it's Las Vegas and everything.
Yes.
I remembered when I went up to him, I told him that we miss you in San Francisco. And then he just says, like, yeah, man, San Fran. Like, he knows San Francisco. He knows that he was a Niner before, that he had his great times in San Francisco. So that was great to hear that he had some times in San Francisco that he had a great time with. And then, obviously, he went to Las Vegas. What did you have to tell him when you were when you met up with Michael Crabtree?
I'd have to tell him that, like, I'm a fan of his. I love what he does. And I also... Here's a funny thing. He also played alongside Amari Cooper back when he was a Raider. And I also met Amari Cooper in the NFL experience in the Bay Area back in 2016. And so I actually told Michael Crabtree, I said, Amari Cooper says hi.
Yeah, I remember that. So what did he reply back with?
I think he said along the lines of, okay or cool or something like that. I don't remember exactly what he said, but I did get sort of a short or small response from him.
Yeah. Nonetheless, I mean, it was cool to actually get a meet up with like a former player. If anything, that was pretty awesome. Gotta thank your brother, by the way, for that.
Yes.
He hooked up with tickets. And the thing is, like, I have to say this though, we're not supposed, like, we got there for free, by the way, to get the tickets. We're not supposed to. We're supposed to pay a certain fee in order to get autographs, but no one said that.
Yeah, well, hey, when you have a brother or friend who's a season ticket holder, you got
I was gonna say, like, your brother said that we could have paid something like around $30-$40 extra to get an autograph, but thankfully I think the restaurant just never noticed that. So we got off easy.
Nate, that's a secret between us.
Oh, too bad. No, that one. What? Not Raider fans will actually be able to watch our podcast as a thing. Hey, I want to bring it out live. Why not?
It's a secret between us, man.
Come on. It's going to be fun. I don't know. Okay, so... Yeah, I mean, we also did our live stream also on Allegiant Stadium as well. I think some of you guys probably have seen that. We both of us ended up... live streaming, answering questions for those who are watching over on YouTube. So thank you all for sending out your questions, talking about some awesome stuff when it comes to animation, LoudCasa, Casa Grandes, Ghost and Molly McGee, Hailey's on it, etc., etc., etc. The list goes on and everything. But yeah, thank you guys for checking out the stream. It's kind of crazy the fact that we had to do it like via phone, so I literally had to like go out, put out my phone out here, to like get a zoomed in face of us. So I'm like, we couldn't do much about it. I was just like, here we go. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. How about the flight back and all? How were you like in the flight back and everything?
The flight back was smooth for the most part. I think the parts that really got to me, that kind of diminished it, were of course the flight delays. It got delayed for like 10 to 15 minutes, and then when I got on the plane. What happened was that it took a long while. It took longer than I thought for the plane to start flying. So it could have been smoother, but you know what? At least I made it home.
Yeah, at least we were able to make it out of Las Vegas. But to be fair, when we got back, I hate the fact that it's still hot out there.
I know.
It feels like the heat just came back to us for some reason. I don't know.
It's summer. It's summer, so it's kind of expected.
I know, I guess, but still, I was just like, what the fuck? All right. So yeah, that's a lot of like things that we talked about when it came to just our vacation and all. I don't want to go like very long when it comes to it, but overall, we ended up having a very awesome time in Las Vegas. So yeah.
I agree, man.
Yeah. All right. Well, I know that you guys are waiting for us to talk about animation, so let's go ahead and go straight to it. And let's talk about the recent news that has happened recently over in animation. So Inside Out 2, we just have a brand new release date for Inside Out 2 is coming out on June 2024. The big thing about this date, though, is the fact that still the SAG-AFTRA strike is still going on, but Disney's putting a hard, date of having it come out in June 2024. I know that sequels have been a thing about Pixar, but for both of us, what we're thinking about for Inside Out 2, it feels like this looks to be a promising film. Omid, your thoughts on Inside Out 2 and now its release date and everything?
I'm going to say this right now. Generally, I find the Pixar sequels, with the exception of Toy Story 2 and 3, of course, like those two are masterpieces of sequels. The rest of the sequels, though, I feel are mediocre or unnecessary. How should I put this? But I do feel that Inside Out 2 can actually be a game changer when it comes to Pixar sequels. Like, it could actually like stand out along with Toy Stories 2 and 3 as being like, you know, as good as the first. Mainly because of the fact of how Inside Out 2 is going to take place when Riley grows up. And when you grow up, like generally when people grow up, then they're going to develop more emotions. They're going to develop more thoughts. So there's going to be more emotions aside from the 5 main ones. Like there's going to be, you know, jealousy. There's going to be, you know, love struck. There's going to be... there's just going to be all sorts of other ones. And I really do like to see this. I really do like to see this because, like, Inside Out, I feel, is one of the best coming-of-age stories I've ever seen in a movie. And I feel like it's a unique one at that, mainly because of the fact of how, like, it doesn't just focus on Riley, like, you know, and her life, but it also deals with the emotions inside Riley that help, you know, that do contribute to her life.
I have to say this though. There's when it comes to being a teenager, for example, because you have Riley in Inside Out 1 just being a kid, having a fun time with their emotions, happy, sadness, anger, and you know, all of those. This time around, as a teenager, those go like awry. Look, she's gonna feel anxiety. She's gonna feel like nervousness. She's gonna do probably a lot of things. So I feel bad for Riley, especially when these emotions have to kick in as well. So you can see sadness, you can see fear. Was it? I forgot the green one's name. Is it jealousy?
It's disgust. The green one's disgust.
It was disgust. You got happy. You got anger. Also all together and everything. But I feel like they're going to have like a very stressing time considering that they have to try to get all of Riley's emotions into one. And I feel like they did have a great idea to actually bring out a sequel like Inside Out 2 because it just tells you like the teenage moments that can happen with Riley when it comes to like, say, for example, you know, having pimples, puberty, you know, getting a boyfriend and stuff like that. So
and also trying to fit in school, because one thing you got to know about high school is that like within the within a group of students, like there's always like for some reason there's this hierarchy when it comes to students. Like you got like the popular jocks and cheerleaders, you got the nerds, you got the regular students, like all that stuff. So yeah, you know, judging from my personal experience, high school is not a fun experience.
High school definitely wasn't a fun experience. To be fair, like I was popular. Actually, I gotta go back to myself. Like junior high was actually a popular time where I actually met up with a lot of people. But when it comes to high school, things changed a whole lot.
For me, I was anything but.
I was not the popular kid. I was the jock and the person who loved anime. So, back then, people didn't like anime for some reason.
Like I was anything but popular. Okay, like when I was in middle school and high school, I was not exactly popular. Let's put it that way.
Okay, well, yeah, good to know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess we all went through a lot of stuff when it comes to high school. But to be fair, we're now in our adulthood. And let's not talk about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Do you think this is a necessary sequel?
Yes, 100% yes. And I usually don't say this often when it comes to Pixar sequels because the Pixar sequels that were released after Toy Story 3 ended up being not so stellar. But with Inside Out 2 and the concept that I just brought up and how it could work, let me tell you, it's going to stand out. It's really going to stand out to like be, you know, the kind of Pixar sequel that we need. It's the kind of Pixar sequel that is going to be a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, and I feel like the same way too, compared to the other sequels that have been announced from Pixar. We just not focus on that and more focus on other projects besides that.
Do not get me started.
I like the fact that he just started to just spurt out his water from there.
Don't get me started on that announcement. Yeah, as if Toy Story 4 was already unnecessary enough, We got a Toy Story 5. How are they going to make that work?
How are we going to get Toy Story 5? Is Buzz Lightyear going to leave? Just like Woody did?
Oh my god, seriously. Aladdin 4 Jafar Many Glasses is a much more necessary sequel than Toy Story 5.
Did we bring up a Family Guy reference all of a sudden?
It's so stupid.
I mean, I don't know. If they have put Toy Story 5, I don't know. I know that they don't care about original ideas, but to be fair, Elemental was a good movie. It was a good movie. And a lot of people kind of like said it was a bomb, blah, blah, blah. But
it wasn't a bomb
good.
for long.
It's good. It's a good movie.
There was a time where it was a bomb, and that is during opening weekend. But after that, things changed for the movie. It changed for the movie up to a point where it increased tenfold in the box office, and it also gained popularity. And deservedly so, too, because I find Elemental to be a sweet, charming movie.
Have you watched it already?
I have seen Elemental, yes.
Has it been on digital, like it's on Disney Plus right now, or is it somewhere else?
I've seen it in theaters. It's going to be released in...
It's going to be coming out, I think, this week, because I saw it's on digital.
Oh, yes,
right. It's on digital, but I don't know when it's going to be on Disney Plus. For anything, Guardians is currently out on Disney Plus, so if you could watch all 3 of them now.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like imagine, like, you spend an entire day watching the Guardians trilogy, like, back to back. That'd be something.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. But no, it's available. You could be able to do that in Disney Plus right now. So, yeah, there's that. I can't wait for this, actually. This is going to be a really good sequel. I feel like Inside Out 2 is definitely going to be a fun one. I got to say this, though. Please continue to figure out like what your sequels are going to be, and also go back to original ideas. Pixar, where has the originality been? I mean, Elio looks to be a really good movie, and I really can't wait to see it. So let's see how that goes. Like I said, Elemental was good. I don't know if Elio is going to be great, and then they have Inside Out 2 coming out. But like I said, please stop Toy Story 5. You don't need that movie. I would say don't put that movie in your lineup right now.
Kill that idea. Kill the Toy Story 5 idea right now. Just kill it with fire.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I don't know what will come up next. I mean, yeah, for real, it's the...
Like, dump that idea. You dump that idea into the incinerator and you watch it burn.
Yeah. Okay, so he can go like really hard about that. But yeah. Oh yeah, okay. So I guess that's pretty much it. Inside Out 2 comes out in June of 2024. So we'll wait 9 more months till that comes out. I think like way more months. Probably like next year. Oh, 10 months, I guess, in that case. All right, moving on to our next news coming out. Yes, Spiderverse, Beyond the Spiderverse. Now, they've said that it's going to be coming out in 2024, but according to recent news via Discussing Film, they've said that the movie has been delayed indefinitely, which means that there is no set release date coming out for Spiderverse, and this is also due to the SAG-AFTRA thing that's going on right now. There's no specific date when it'll come out. So, your thoughts when you heard about this news?
Okay, I'm just going to say this right now. As much as I love the Spider-Verse movies, and I generally do mean it, the 2 Spider-Verse movies really stand out to me as, like, pretty much being, not just 2 of the best animated movies I've seen. Like, they're somewhere in the top 5 or maybe even top 10 or something like that. Not only are they, like, the best Marvel named movies, I'm talking about MCU and beyond, not just MCU alone. Mm-hmm. And not only are they like, they're currently tied for my second favorite superhero movie behind The Dark Knight. They're also some of the best movies I've ever seen. With that said, though, I'm actually glad that the change was indefinite. I'm really glad that they didn't schedule for 2024 anymore. Mainly because of the fact of how, the working conditions under Phil Lord and Chris Miller, they were piss poor. Like, oh my God, what were Phil Lord and Chris Miller thinking treating those poor animators like that?
You know what's kind of crazy? Like, Phil Lord and Chris Miller, both of them are really great directors. They made amazing movies. But why did I hear the fact that the animators, the people who are right behind the scenes, writers and stuff like that, were treated that bad? I'm like, that makes it so bad, like a toxic work environment over there.
Because here's the thing, like Phil Lord, he's pretty much, what he does is that he flips the script at the last second. Like, pretty much the animators work day and night to complete a scene, and of course it really shows. Look at the animation for Across the Spider-Verse. It's very revolutionary, very, very stylized and all that stuff. And then from what I've heard, like the animators, when they present their idea to like Phil Lord, they're just like, nah, but let's just do it all over again. This is like, and then they have to crunch even more hours. So it was really grueling for them. It was exhausting for them. And yeah, it was pretty much an animator's worst nightmare. And my heart goes out to all the animators that were treated terribly under the management of Phil and Chris Miller.
So this kind of tells me, like, for all the Phil Lord and Chris Miller movies that they've made, like Clone High, for example, that's one show that they're currently making right now. That's out right now on Max. And it kind of tells me, were they also under that pressure as well? I don't know about that.
Probably. I don't know about how it went with that movie, but
It's not a movie, it's a TV series.
I don't know how it went with that TV series, but in terms of the Spider-Verse movies, yeah, it was not a happy experience for the staff.
Yeah, I've just been hearing all the complaint stories over at X. A lot of people on Instagram also putting up their stories when it comes to what happened over at that, apparently that toxic work environment. But yeah, nonetheless, I mean, they did work a lot out of it. They made this great movie. Was it worth, like, they better win that Best Animated Feature in order for them to actually get honored for it. I think it's gonna win the Best Animated Feature for sure.
Oh, it will.
For Across the Spider-Verse, it definitely looked like a great movie. So,
like, honestly, Across the Spider-Verse is looking to be the top winner when it comes to animated features this year.
So now it makes me think, like, when do you think it will come for Beyond the Spider-Verse? Do you think it might come in 2024, 2025? I have a feeling it could go longer than maybe summer 2025 now, because if you're going to be limiting on those time, if you're not going to be, limiting on time anymore and having that work environment, make sure it's not toxic anymore, you're going to be pushing for probably a longer time. Like how long we waited for, was it Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse?
Honestly, even 2025, I feel is a bit too soon. I would say, like, 2026 earliest, 2029 latest, or maybe
that's
even
a long time, by the way. You're looking at 5 years into this at the end of the movie, because I know the third one, Beyond the Spider-Verse, is the last one.
Well, I mean, because you got to give the staff and the animators especially time to breathe, like give them a break and let them take their time to, finish up the product, because the mental health and the well-being of the staff should always come first before a project.
Yeah, but if anything, I really hope they do make it out in 2025. I would say like that timestamp is probably going to be in summer 2025, because yeah, it is going to be the last Spider-Verse. That is true from what I heard from Lord and Miller, from the whole production crew that were the creators who made this. But yeah, I mean, this is a great movie. I love Across the Spider-Verse. I definitely do have to say this definitely would be worth an Oscar-worthy, like, Best Animated Feature Film. If it doesn't win, I got nothing else to say. It's more like, what the fuck? You gotta bring that in. You gotta make sure that wins.
Honestly, if not this, give it to Nimona next.
Or TMNT. You have to watch TMNT, by the way.
I haven't seen
watch TMNT. That's a good movie.
I've heard great things about it.
Yeah, dude. I can explain more. We're not gonna put spoilers anymore on this. TMNT definitely was.
If you watch Nimona, you gotta watch Nimona.
I have to watch Nimona. Yeah. See, both of us need to have like a lot of like things to watch now because of this.
Nimona, which also is another one of my top favorite movies of the year, by the way. So yeah.
All right, but yeah, really hope for the best for those who have been writing on Beyond the Spider-Verse, those who are animating, and those who are pretty much involved with the whole project of Beyond the Spider-Verse. I know that you guys are currently on strike right now. I do support you guys. It's just, I understand we have to wait a long while for the next movie Beyond the Spider-Verse to come out, but we understand why. And I hope you guys can get a resolution when it comes to the SAG-AFTRA thing. We're with you. Hopefully things come out well in the end.
Yeah, we support SAG-AFTRA. Like, we stand with the writers and actors. We stand with you guys with the strike.
All right. Well, besides the SAG-AFTRA stuff, we also do want to bring up some couple of news that came in from our favorite channel, the Disney Channel. Yes. So I think a lot of news just came out before we started our first podcast, so let's actually bring it out to y'all. Talk about Girl and Devil Dinosaur. Now, we already know the second season is coming out. Actually, have you watched it all, by the way?
I actually have. I've watched.
Oh, you watched it all? Okay, good. Maybe we can bring it up.
Not all of it. Not all of it. No. Here's the thing. I've watched like the first 6 or 7 episodes of the show, and I gotta say, I really like it. I really like Moon Girl Devil Dinosaur.
I can't tell you about what's going to happen in the end.
Yep. So you kind of have to. You're gonna have to spoil. You're gonna have to hide spoilers. But yeah, needless to say, I really like Moon Girl Devil Dinosaur. It is a very charming, very stylized, very funny, and very action-packed, series. Lunella / Moon Girl is a really awesome main protagonist, and then of course like her friendship with Devil Dinosaur, and of course her friendship with Casey. Like honestly, Lunella and Casey is the best BFF relationship I've seen in animation. One of the best BFFs I've seen in a cartoon. Like they have such chemistry and all that, and like Casey stands out as a breath of fresh air because of how she's both a vlogger and like she's a vlogger and she's also a really good friend to Lunella.
I will have to say this. I have to say this though. Casey definitely was. But first off, the other thing too that you don't know about. Do you know about this though? That Casey was not supposed to be the Moon Girl Devil Dinosaur.
Yeah, I remember you telling me one time how Casey was not an original Marvel character.
She's not an original character, but if I actually started my YouTube channel of animation stuff, like I would have a big 20-minute breakdown of like why Casey needed to be in the show.
Yeah, and I look forward to that.
Yeah, if I ever do it, but then again, I've been doing like vlogs of conventions right now, so that's a different story.
Different story altogether, guys. Yeah. Different project.
So the news about Moon Girl Devil Dinosaur is the fact that we have a season 2 coming out. It is true, it is happening. But we also do have a release date coming out for Moon Girl Devil Dinosaur, and that is January 2024. So, Omid, you have some time to catch up on watching Lunella, Casey, and Devil Dinosaur work together and stuff like that. So you have to get into that.
Hey, no problem. I got Disney Plus, so yeah.
Yeah. So it kind of sucks because I wanted to bring up the ending. If I spoilers for those who are watching right now. I can't tell you now because you didn't watch the end.
Yeah, because I got a backlog of shows to watch, games to play, like being a man of wide variety like myself is both a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, then again, we're all busy with like all the other stuff we need to catch up on anyway. But season 2 is coming out January 2024. Get ready for that. I'm hyped for it, to be fair.
Yeah, like I'm already hyped for season 2 because from what I've seen from the season 1 episodes I've watched, yeah, it really is such a fun show to watch, and it's a great new addition to the Disney Channel lineup.
After like Amphibia and Owl House left, you have Moon Girl, Devil Dinosaur, and plus other shows that we're going to be discussing right now. Let's skip on to the next news that came out. Let's move over to another show from Disney TVA called Kiff. So Kiff currently is in season 1 right now, but we also did have an announcement that there's going to be a Halloween episode coming out in late September. So it's kind of crazy because like this, I don't know what, but it feels like cartoons always come out with Halloween episodes first before like a Christmas episode or New Year's episode or something like that. But Kiff is going to have a brand new episode coming out in Halloween. It's going to be talking about Trevor for one thing, and then another episode I forgot. It's a 30-minute special nonetheless. You haven't watched Kiff, by the way. I don't know why. It's not bad. It's kind of like the new Big City agrees to say.
Yeah, I haven't. Now, unlike Moon Girl Devil Dinosaur, in which I actually did have experience watching some of the episodes, in terms of Kiff, I haven't seen a single episode. I'm sorry, Kiff fans, but yeah, I wish I could talk Kiff, but, how can I talk about a show that I haven't seen? But, like, the main voice actress, the voice actress, Kimiko Glenn, I believe her name is. Kimiko Glenn. I'm a Kimiko Glenn myself. Like, I love her and her voice work because, she voices Penny Parker, one of my favorite Spiderverse characters. Second favorite behind Spider-Gwen. And, of course, she voices Bridget, my favorite Close Enough character. Yes.
FYI, that show is over. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, here's a little hot take. Here's another hot take, too. I find Close Enough better than the regular show.
Wow. Wait. Just because it's an adult audience. Come on, bro.
Well, yeah, because when you think about it, Close Enough is relatable to those in our age demographic. Whereas regular show, like the target demographic I could find for regular show who can relate to this are like those who are late teens to early adulthood.
So my thing right now is I can't wait to see what Kiff will have. Definitely a great show, by the way. It's kind of like Big City Greens with furries. Look, they're animals, okay? I don't want...
You had me at Big City Greens.
I mean, like, it's literally a slice of life show. Like, these animals from Tabletown are living their life.
Nate, you had me a slice of life. I'm sold.
Okay. So he's gonna get it because of the whole slice of life thing. But it's just cool to see like Kiff and the family hang out together. Bear and his family hang out together, and then these other friends too. Our friend Jess, she's a huge fan of Kendall, this fox here. And she's like the next Andrea, the next Sasha, the next Amity. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's not like that. I guess she's popular. Yeah, it's just one thing, but she's definitely not like that. She's friends with Kiff, if anything. So he's not a rival or anything like that.
Yeah, here's the thing. I love slice of life shows like Big Sea Greens and, well, this that I'm going to watch soon. Because of the fact that I like me some magical and fantasy cartoons as much as the next guy. I like Amphibian Owl House. But sometimes you just gotta mix it up every now and then with some slice of life. So this is where I'm really glad that Big City Greens and Ghost and Molly McGee, to point another example, even though that contains some supernatural fantasy too, but it's mostly slice of life themes incorporating that as well. Like, I like to see more of that. I like to see more of a balance between fantasy and slice of life.
Mm-hmm. Well, nonetheless, Kiff is going to have this her Halloween episodes coming up real soon. I got the title now. It's called Trevor's Rocking Halloween Bash. So I'm guessing this guy right here, Trevor, is going to have a Halloween bash at his house. So that's apparently new. I don't know, they're fun. I don't know what the animals do. I think the only human we have here is this chick right here, freaking Helen. I don't like her.
Don't spoil anything.
I mean, look at animals. And a witch. It's a witch. I guess they're animals now. We could put like a witch as an animal now.
You know what? As soon as I check out, Kiff, like hopefully we can have another episode dedicated to talking about Disney Channel shows in the near future. But but needless to say, though, like, judging from what I've seen, it's definitely on my list.
Definitely. All right, so let's move over to another show from Disney Channel called Hailey's on It. They have a brand new Halloween episode coming out real soon, also at the end of September. The title is called Beta's Gonna Hate and the Amazing Race. So I have a feeling like in this Halloween episode that Beta gets like haywire and becomes like haunting over Scott and Hailey. And then the Amazing Race, I think there was actually one entry where she has to go through a corn maze. That literally was in the theme song, so I guess that will answer that.
Okay, here's going to be coming more heartbreaks, like coming from. Okay, here's another heartbreaker. Just like Kiff, I've never seen Hailey's on It.
Fans are gonna be all about that now.
I'm sorry. But
Hell is a witch. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Here's the thing though. Like from what I've seen from the sneak peeks and the promos, the clips, and all this stuff, it looks to be a fun show. But it's just that, like, since I had so much going on, so much media to consume, I just didn't have the time to watch this or Kiff. But those two are definitely on my wait list because, let me tell you, like, they look like fun shows to watch when I have the time. So, yeah. So when I get to Kiff and Hailey's on It, hopefully we can have an episode dedicated to talking about Disney Channel shows again.
Yeah. Well, nonetheless, Hailey's on It will have its Halloween episode come out. That's going to be in late September. So it's going to have, like, the same Halloween bash between Kiff and Hailey are going to have the same block of, like, Halloween episodes. So, nonetheless, they're going to have Halloween episodes, and hopefully you guys will be able to see it. Like I said, Hailey's on is definitely looking good right now, so I'm liking it. I'm liking it right now, but Hailey's on it.
Yeah, it's like, I'll definitely check the two out before that Halloween special comes, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how the Halloween special goes. Maybe they'll kiss there. Amazing Race. I mean, they might kiss if Hailey's lost. I don't know. It just keeps... No, that's not even a spoiler. It's more like it can happen at any time. It's just we don't know when.
Just a reminder. It's a gentle reminder, man. Yeah. Gentle reminder than anything else.
So let's actually talk to Chibiverse. So we have now a green light for second season of Chibiverse. That's also coming out in September. Nothing much going on when it comes to Chibiverse. It's pretty much the Chibi shorts all put up together in a mashup for 25 minutes. You're just watching Chibis have fun. I mean, Chibi characters of the Disney TV characters having fun. It's a pretty nice show, actually, because there were only 4 episodes from the first season, and they were all really good because you had like a mashup between Ghost and Molly McGee and Big City. You had Amphibia at Big City. Then you had Phineas and Ferb in the Owl House one time. And you also did have the Proud Family and the Ghost and Molly McGee having their own mashups as well. Now it just tells me like, what's the next thing that Chibiverse is gonna do? What, Phineas and Ferb with Big City Greens, for example, or maybe they'll bring in some, other characters. It's just a really awesome thing to actually watch. Just the fact that like Disney TVA is still close together, nonetheless. We're all Disney TVA fans, and everybody who loves Disney TVA will definitely have some nostalgia stuff here and there. I mean, Kim Possible was in one of the episodes. Come on, that's 2001. Yeah. And I grew up with that show, and I love that show.
So was Proud Family. Proud Family was also there as well. With the Chibi Villains, the Chibi Villains reunite thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, I do like the fact that, what was it, the Chibiverse, here's the thing. We already saw Hailey, sorry, what were we bringing up again?
We were talking about Hailey's on it, we were talking about Kiff.
Yeah. And now they have their versions out here, too. You get to see their Chibi Tales, too. So you saw Kiff's Chibi Tales, you saw Hailey's Chibi Tales, and they're probably going to be in the brand new season of Chibiverse. What's kind of unfortunate is the fact that, like, at least give us at least a code of recognition for the old cartoons, like Proud Family, for example. We got Drake Long have one. Heck, Jake Long actually did appear in one of these as well. Yeah, these old Disney TVA shows that we used to love. I mean, Gravity Falls, for example. These deeper.
Yes.
Here, oh my God, what if Gravity Falls actually does host in Chibiverse one time?
I would love nothing more than to have the Pines twins host a Chibi Tales. That'd be awesome.
I mean, you have Phineas and Ferb. You already did have Phineas and Ferb come out. I have a feeling that Gravity Falls will come back. So you have to bring back Jason Ritter. You have to bring back the voice of Mabel. Alex Hirsch. They got to come back. I would imagine that they're going to probably be hosts to one of these Chibiverse episodes. I would love it if they ever do that.
Yes. Let me tell you something about Chibiverse. Okay, like, if you thought Avengers was the greatest crossover, if you thought Super Smash Bros. Was the greatest crossover, well, you're wrong about the former, but we're going to say you're right about the latter. Super Smash is best.
Oh my God.
But Chibiverse, it is a fun crossover. Like, it is one huge fun pack. Because you got all these beloved Disney TVA characters doing some shenanigans together, and it's just so interesting to see it.
Oh, one thing I also do want to bring up. Recently, Chibiverse has done some classic movies. Have you seen the Cinderella one, the Beauty and the Beast one? There's barely a Sleepy Beauty one coming out this week, by the way. So get ready for that. So those Chibi shorts are going to be in Chibiverse for sure. Lilo and Stitch just also had like 4 or 5 of those, and they're going to probably be in the Chibiverse shows too.
Yes!
So somebody tells me, should Chibiverse actually put in Lilo and Stitch, for example, in there?
Lilo and Stitch...
That's a TV series. That's a Disney TVA series, by the way.
Lilo and Stitch, like... The entire franchise, the movie, the spin-off movies and the shows, like, they hold a special place in my heart. So, it makes me happy to see Lilo and Stitch getting their share of Chibi Tales as well.
So, also something tells me that there are going to possibly be reoccurrences of like the TV shows that we've been loving recently, like Amphibia and the Owl House. So Amphibia, what if Marcy does come back and actually host the Chibiverse? You're gonna love that.
Yes.
Oh my God,
yes.
You guys gonna love that.
My favorite Calamity Girl hosting it. Please make it happen.
She appeared in one episode of Chibiverse, if anything, and then everybody went haywire with the fact that like you see Sasha, Marcy, and Anne all playing again like they did back in Battle of the Bands. So it was like, what? Everybody started like freaking out. I'm like, everybody, what's going on here?
That was something.
That was like the hypest part of an episode. I'm like, okay, wait. Don't you guys know about the plan between what Scratch is doing and what Cricket is doing? That was fun. That was a good Chibi short. At least Molly and Tilly are both like friends right now.
That was quite a show.
But everybody was just like caring more about the Amphibia like scene right there, and I'm like, guys.
Yes.
Amphibia was definitely a great show, but no doubt about it. I mean, everybody was hyped about that. I mean, my thing about like watching Chibiverse, like what surprises will pop up, like. Luz popping up in a Chibiverse episode. I'm like, oh shit, Phineas and Ferb. Oh cool. Where's Luz? Holy crap, she's in it too! Yay! So I mean, that's the thing about these Chibiverse episodes. I'm waiting for like, what's the next person coming out? Maybe Marco might come back from Star vs. Force of Evil. I mean, you have Ponyhead right here holding a sign. I'm assuming that probably some Star vs. references come out.
That's the thing about Chibiverse. It's one of those things where it's like you can make any crossover happen. and it would still work. It still would work. I'm gonna match this. Like, what if by any chance the Pines twins ended up in Amphibia or Boiling Isles?
Oh my god. Oh, ooh, that would be really.
I would kill for it.
That would be a really interesting one if they ever did.
I would kill to see that kind of crossover happen.
Oh no, here we go. See, I'm telling you, this is what makes me love Chibiverse. Like, when it comes out in September, I don't know what the first episode will be, but what kind of mashups will we have next? I don't know. What kind of mashups will we have next? I would love it if we see, like, for example, another Amphibia thing, or another Owl House thing, or Gravity Falls matching up with the Owl House, for example, like what you said before. Yeah,
definitely.
Maybe bring some old shows. It would be fun if they actually brought in the old shows of like 2005 to 2011.
Yeah,
Dave the Barbarian. No. Oh no! How about Buzz on Maggie? Nobody watched that show. How about The Replacements? The Replacements was a really good show too, but nobody cared about that
Brandy
show.
and Mr. Whiskers. I remember watching Brandy and Mr. Whiskers.
You even know about Brandy and Mr. Whiskers. What if that popped up out of nowhere?
Brandy and Mr. Whiskers.
Oh, and shout outs to Ghost and Molly McGee for actually talking about Mr. Whiskers. I'm like, you did it! Yes, finally you talked about Mr. Whiskers. Oh my god.
Yeah, it turns out that Molly had a plushie of Mr. Whiskers. It's like.
So when you saw that part, you were like, oh my god, Mr. Whiskers, they referenced it, finally!
I mean, Disney Easter eggs aren't necessarily a new thing, but it was just a nice touch to see a cartoon referenced from, like a cartoon from that era be referenced. Because, yeah, Brandy and Mr. Whiskers, I thought it was a decent show. I thought it was not one of the greatest Disney shows, but it was still a show watching worthwhile. It's a show I would watch from time to time when I was a kid.
Yeah, that, like I said, the old Disney Channel shows that we've had, that was really awesome. But Chibiverse, I don't know what other surprises you'll have, but I definitely would love to see what you guys come up. I can't wait to see what you got coming up for September. So yeah, this is gonna be a fun one to listen into.
Yeah, man.
September, mark your dates, guys. September's got a lot of stuff. I already said Hailey's on it. I already said Kiff, now Chibiverse. So September is gonna be a crazy month.
It's gonna be quite a month, and it's gonna be the start of fall. So don't forget that.
Now we did mention the Ghost and Molly McGee, so we have to actually bring in the the elephant in the room here and talk about the Ghost and Molly McGee. So the recent news that we had here for Ghost and Molly McGee was that they are going to end season 2. Season 2 is about to end real soon. Oh, sorry. Season 2 is about to end real soon for the Ghost and Molly McGee, and according to what they said, the title was called what was it again? The End? Oh god, that doesn't sound great. That doesn't sound great, does it? Okay, first off, let me say my thing. I'm not liking season 2. I'm really sorry for those who are currently watching the Ghost of Molly McGee saying it's amazing right now, but it is not amazing. Season 2 has definitely fallen off the cliff. I'm not saying it's still a bad show. It's just that season 2 definitely disappointed me right now, and I don't know what direction this show is gonna go to. But the Ghost of Molly McGee, definitely with the whole fact that season 3 is still not greenlit, is there a possible chance that we may really see the end in season 2 of the Ghost of Molly McGee?
Okay, I just gotta say this. Ghost and Molly McGee, I love you. I really love you. We've had some good times, but the bad times, though, yeah, there are times when you've gone really stupid. Okay, here's the thing. Now, the animation, of course, is still, smooth, it's still creative. Of course, the dynamic between Molly and Scratch is also amazing. Oh my god, the Andrea and Libby episode, specifically, the Andrea where she goes through an identity crisis, and also Libby where she dealt with her father. Those are some of the best Ghost and Molly McGee episodes I've ever seen. And, Molly and Ollie did have some promise, but it came to a screeching halt. It came to a screeching halt after. Okay, should I put up spoilers? It came to a screeching halt. The development for Ollie came to a screeching halt when after Ollie found out that after Ollie found out the truth about Molly and Scratch being friends. That's when they decided not to.
Went too fast. I feel like that whole thing went too fast. If anything, you could have at least approached it in a Romeo and Juliet way, instead of actually the way that Ollie got exposed to Scratch was, I guess, how it is. But I just feel like Ollie now has just been thrown away in the trash. And I'm he's a great secondary character. You would be a perfect love interest for Molly. And now you just say, they're friends. What the I would love it if they actually do love to be together. It's just not the way that I don't know. If they write it terribly for Ollie, and I just hope he gets like a big lift off, like a big like significant like role beside like Libby and Audrey are doing great right now. Like Libby is best friends to Molly, and she's like they're great friends. Andrea's having her own times with Molly, and they're both great friends too. If anything, I think like this season definitely impacted Andrea a lot, just because she was a bully before. Now she's actually living up to Molly, and she's like acting normally and everything like that. So that's great. I can kind of look back at like J Alpha's video, like Ollie may have been
Alpha J,
yeah. Nonetheless, like. Ollie is a great character, but I don't like how the Ghost and Molly McGee is treating him right now.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like, when you look at Ollie, when you look at how Ollie is, post your scratch reveal, you could swear that the way Ollie's written, he's written as like a bad OC character. Like one of those OC characters that feel like, the extras that, feel like, either yes men to the protagonist, or like they feel like, how should I put it? Their writing needed much to be desired. He sort of felt like that. And it's like, Ollie did deserve better. You know what I would have done with Ollie? Like, have, Ollie, have Ollie discover Scratch at the end. Like, have Ollie discover Scratch at the end of the season and dedicate the middle of the season to developing Molly and Ollie's relationship by themselves, and also develop Ollie's family. I mean, hello, Jun Chen. Come on. Give Jun Chen more screen time. Give Jun Chen more episodes. Jun Chen deserves better.
She definitely does it. Plus the rest of the family also needs some features as well. Last time we saw them, they were about to fight ghosts, and that was it. So
yeah,
I don't know what's happening. I mean, if anything, do you feel like they need a season 3?
Yes, I do. Because the world building because they gotta develop I want to see more of the ghost world. They gotta we've seen plenty of the ghost world, but I feel like there are some elements that could be incorporated in the future that could blend together very well in the lore of Ghost and Molly McGee. And also, like I said before, please develop the Chen family. I'm tired of them being treated as background characters. Seriously.
Yeah, I really do hope them soon. If anything, I'm indifferent when it comes to season 3. I know that a lot of people are thinking like, why are we not having a season 3? I'm kind of indifferent of it. If they have season 3, that's awesome. If they don't, and it ends with the end, then I'm gonna be satisfied, I guess. But it better be ending like good if it is going to be like the final season of the Ghost of Molly McGee. So, yeah.
They better pull an Amazing World of Gumball. And if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, there was an episode of Amazing World of Gumball called The End, but it wasn't really the end. I hope the same goes with this show.
Yeah, and we'll see how it goes. Ghost and Molly McGee. We are really hoping that the end title is not really the end title, but yeah, we'll have to see about that.
I'm like the end ? Right.
We made this brand new podcast. The thing right now is that what made us want to change from, just talking about Loud House and Casa Grandes to an animation podcast. And the reason why mostly is just because we were huge animation fans. We grew up with cartoons, and then we just grew up with cartoons ever since. Like, I started off with watching Looney Tunes, for example, and it started growing from there. So let's actually talk about like how we got into like cartoons, for example, because I don't know how you started off with in your route to like seeing all these cartoons that you've watched, but what made you get into animation
Well, the earliest memories of me watching cartoons, I remember my favorite cartoon was actually Rugrats. I was so big into Rugrats up to a point where I would always collect like most, if not all, of the orange VHS tapes of Rugrats. Like, that was my go-to. That was a hobby of mine, collecting orange Rugrats VHS tapes. I love Rugrats so much.
Do you still have those orange tapes, by the way, or are they gone now?
They're gone.
I would imagine that being a collectible thing now, the orange like tapes, because that used to be Nickelodeon's brand, the orange thing.
Yeah, well, spring cleaning and summer cleaning would beg to differ, and they would go like, "No, you got to throw those away." And it's like, okay,
a collector who would like grew up with their nostalgia would probably like keep them forever,
I know, but gotta make space for the house
Yeah.
and all that stuff.
I just remember old Nickelodeon before, like with Doug. Well, the first cartoons that came out, Doug. What was it? Ren and Stimpy. Rugrats wasn't in that time, right? Or was it?
Ren and Stimpy, Rugrats, Hey Arnold, Doug, they were 90s
No,
Nickelodeon.
the first three cartoons that came up for Nickelodeon. I think Rugrats was a part of it, maybe.
They were Ren and Stimpy, Rugrats. I believe Rocco's was also another one.
Rocco's was definitely later, though.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I know Ren and Stimpy was definitely one of them. And to be fair, like when you look back at those cartoons that you've watched with Doug and Ren and Stimpy, for example, you get to understand, like, as you grow older, when you watch those episodes, you're like, oh, wait, how do we miss that? But then
Yeah.
again, we were kids. So we're like, oh, there's some adult humor in these cartoons. But, yeah.
You see, that's the best kind of humor when it comes to cartoons. Not just cartoons, but also shows aimed at kids. Adult humor that flies over kids' heads. Like, you may not get it when you were a kid, but when you look back on it as an adult, you think to yourself, I saw what they did there.
Speaking of Rocko's Modern Life, did you expect all that adult things that popped up in that show?
Rocko's Modern Life.
I didn't know Rocko's Modern Life was so adult. Like,
yeah,
holy.
It is the most slice of life that a cartoon show based on talking anthropomorphic animals, like aimed at kids, of course, was ever been. Like, oh my god, Rocko's Modern Life. It is fun to watch as a kid, but when you watch it as an adult, it's actually even better.
So I noticed this too, that you get the adult humor in season 1, and then you start to see that the adult humor started to go down a bit after like season 2, 3, or 4 for Rocko's Modern Life. But that's enough of that. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of adult humor in that. I mean, even before, like Looney Tunes, for example, they have their adult humor too. I mean, it was supposed to be aimed for everybody anyways, but when you grew up, it was in Nickelodeon. It wasn't Cartoon Network. And I think it was permanently in Cartoon Network after, like, I think 1996, 1997. But I just remember watching a lot of Looney Tunes. I remember my auntie just recording Looney Tunes a lot and just remembering all the fun times that Looney Tunes has. It kind of sucks that Max doesn't have it anymore because it just gives me that nostalgia trip again.
Yeah, man. The Looney Tunes are so iconic. Like, they're pretty much, it's one of those cartoons. Looney Tunes is one of those things where you watch it and you enjoy it when you're an adult, you enjoy it as much as you did when you were a kid. It is just so phenomenal.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun show. I mean, all those shorts that you watched, Daffy Duck, Bugs Bunny, those ones, yeah. But then you also look back at the other cartoons that you watch. I don't know if you watched like the old cartoons, like the Flintstones, the Jetsons, those cartoons.
I remember watching Tom and Jerry. Tom and
Jerry's a classic too. Yeah, that's
Tom
true.
and Jerry was my. Tom and Jerry was my go-to, cartoon classic.
But my thing is that there's some racist stuff that also happened in that show. We're getting canceled in our first episode, guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Some things are better left unsaid because, well,
look, we're not gonna go in detail of what the hell happened. But
there
was times, like even in Looney Tunes too. But then again, that was the time, 40s and 50s. Those were times that they had cartoons. There's a lot of history. I mean, there's a lot of history YouTubers that talk about like those cartoons, like from Looney Tunes all the way too.
I remember when Looney Tunes especially got really racist. And I'm not going to bring up certain cartoons that I have in my head by now because, well, for PC purposes, let's not do it.
Yeah, I mean, no matter what, I mean, Looney Tunes was definitely a classic for me. I have to tell you that there's this one YouTube channel that I follow. It's Kaiser Beams. So this person was doing documentary series of like old anime, but he also does talk about the Looney Tunes, like a history of Looney Tunes. And I've been like, when I have it as my background noise, it's just awesome to like see your old classic cartoons come up and just like get talked about. Say like, oh, Chuck Jones was an amazing director. Oh, Fritz Freeling made this time, those kind of things.
Yeah.
Like. And they made Bugs Bunny. How did it begin? How did Porky Pig? Porky Pig apparently was the first Looney Tune, by the way, not Bugs Bunny. So
yeah, and like Porky Pig was a nervous as hell kid. Like his first draft of Porky the Pig, like Porky the Pig's first appearance. Like I remember. It wasn't nearly as prominent or as iconic as his later drafts.
Yeah, well, then again, he was, yeah. But then again, what I heard from what Kaiser Beam said was the fact that, like, the person who was actually voicing Porky Pig, he actually was he actually did have, like, the stuttering. He literally had the stuttering. and that led to him having that stutter in Porky Pig. But it's unfortunate that like apparently he only lasted a couple years until Mel Blanc took over. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel bad for the person that did have
because it was
stuttering.
according to them, it's like what was it? It's tough for them to animate considering that it's a pig. Considering it's a character and they have to like do it in animation. Remember animation before? It wasn't by computer. It was by
of course.
things. Yeah, so
any animation fan or any like any media fan would know that like it was during a time where like drawing animation like with a pen and all that stuff, that was a thing during the time.
But they did make like amazing movies before. Remember Snow White,
yes.
Sleeping Beauty,
the era of 2D. I'll never forget the era of 2D. I wish we could go back to those times again.
Yeah,
but technology has evolved. We're in a day and age where technology has evolved. To be fair,
it does make things like better to get a movie out faster compared to like flipping the pages and stuff like that. But I don't do that. I just mostly just draw now. So yeah.
Yeah, nowadays like we draw digitally.
So again, Hey Arnold definitely was one of your favorite cartoons. I was kind of wondering, like, what made it your favorite?
What made it one of my favorites is the fact of how it dealt with heavy themes, such as, especially with Helga on the couch, how like she had to walk all the way from her home to preschool at a young age, by the way. Like it dealt with it dealt with child neglect. It dealt with and Pigeon Man also dealt with heavy themes like like there's this guy who lives among pigeons and like society sees him as weird, but he embraces being the Pigeon Man because he loves pigeons and all that stuff. So I really like that, and it also dealt with Arnold's Thanksgiving, about how a picture perfect family Thanksgiving dinner isn't exactly how it reflects on real life, because real life is real life sucks. Like Hey Arnold is one of those shows that's not afraid to say that life sucks but it gives you hope. It gives you hope to get through life.
Yeah, my thing right now is like, I think Hey Arnold definitely was an amazing cartoon. Like, it was a good show. One of my favorites up there, but it's like the top favorite when it comes to like Nickelodeon shows and things like that.
For me, it's Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh, definitely an amazing cartoon for sure. Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Avatar: The Last Airbender is my number one favorite Nickelodeon show. I
have to say this though, like Avatar, Korra, also the Legend of Korra definitely were both amazing. Got to thank the folks who made them. Kind of hate how everything's like trying to go for spin-offs and things like that. If anything, the books are the ones that make like Avatar great.
Yeah, like I'm still on Rise of Kyoshi. I'm still in the beginning of Rise and Kyoshi. It's a book that I need to get to soon. I haven't finished it, but I've read the first 2 or 3 chapters, and let me tell you, like, they're really promising.
Right. But yeah, I mean, what other cartoons can we actually bring up here that I know from like my past to say? Disney Channel, Disney TVA. I mean, we all grew up with like Doug, for example. Remember when Nickelodeon like had only 3 seasons, then it moved to Disney?
Yeah, I didn't watch
I don't know how that
version.
happened. Like, I don't know how that happened where Doug moved over to Disney all of a sudden,
It was much better when it was on Nickelodeon.
I know. But, like, it was just, like, hella weird when I first saw, like, them on Disney. It was like, what the fuck?
Doug's first movie, though. I remember seeing Doug's first movie.
No, I never seen it. How is that? Was that good or not?
It was okay. It was okay.
It was okay. Did they finally like meet up? Finally have Patty Mayonnaise and Doug Funny together now?
It's basically an ET or sort of like creature story.
Yeah.
In which the main character runs into a supernatural creature, and then they try to hide the supernatural creature from society, but then and then the government goes after them. It's like it's pretty much like Doug's first movie is basically E.T. in cartoon form.
Pretty much. I just have to say this though. Come on, man. I mean, I don't know what happened. I know that they went to high school in Bread Spanking New Doug, and I'm like, I don't know if we needed that. I know they graduated junior high when they went to when they finished Nickelodeon's Doug. But then when they moved it over to Disney, I don't know how the deal went. It just felt like when Disney took over Doug, that's when it started to fall apart, like, for some reason.
You know what? I'm asking this. I actually want a Doug reboot.
Oh my god!
In which they cast in which Doug and the Doug and the rest of the characters are adults. That idea I feel has the potential to redeem Disney's Doug for me.
I guess, but still, it's just. Oh man. But yeah, I remember Doug. That was just quite a interesting story. I mean, Doug, Pepper Ann. What other ones were there?
Patty Mayonnaise.
Oh my god. Okay, you can stop that. Doug, Pepper Ann, Recess.
Roger.
From the Disney Channel stuff, yeah.
I remember Skeeter, Roger.
It was crazy though. Those people, I mean, the people who voiced Doug and Roger. I mean, I forgot his name. He currently is still voicing right now. Like he's Fry, I think, in Futurama, if I'm correct, right?
Billy West.
Billy West. Yes.
Yes, Billy West is an iconic VA.
Yeah, I mean that's just crazy how those they continue on with voice acting and stuff like that, even if in the 90s. Like, maybe they were just like, young men. Now they're like freaking older men, and look at them now, still voicing, which is still a great thing for them.
Speaking of Futurama, go and watch the reboot. Go and watch the revival.
Have you seen the latest episodes of Futurama?
I have seen the first episode in which Fry binge watches all the shows.
Yeah.
But staying still.
Remember that Futurama was in Fortnite before.
And of course, Amy and Kiff get married. That was
also okay. That was something.
Amy and Kiff had kids. That's also.
Yeah. That's pretty neat. I was gonna say like this though. Fortnite also did have skins for Futurama, by the way. So play Fortnite for those who are watching. Play Fortnite.
We know some online friends who do play Fortnite, and a few of them have Bender as their skin. So
yeah, I had Bender as my skin. That was great to put in.
Good, because Bender is best character, and he's the best character John DiMaggio has voiced. He's a character, a John DiMaggio character that's legitimately funny.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I mean, these cartoons that we've been growing up since, I don't know what other things you want to bring up, but I think when it comes to all the cartoons we've watched, we've seen a growth when it comes to all the things we've watched, Nickelodeon shows, Cartoon Network shows, Disney Channel shows. We could start from the small things from the classic Kusupo cartoons like Rugrats,
Rocket Power.
I love Rocket Power. It's such a good show.
Wiggy.
Yeah, I remember that. Oh man. No. That definitely. And then remember that time? During that time, it was more everybody loves Tony Hawk. Everybody's doing skateboarding and scootering and all these skating and all this jazz. Yeah, those were times I remember.
Yeah, I know some people can argue that they use outdated slang and all that stuff, and I'm just it's not just outdated slang and, surf dude bros and all that stuff. There are actually times where the Rocket Power show hits deep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It actually goes into deep themes, especially regarding the Rocket family. So.
I definitely love that show. Just because I every day when I watch after school, coming back from school, I would just watch Rocket Power, and it'll be yo, it's time for me to learn skateboarding, which I don't know how to learn yet, so I'm not a big skateboarder myself. So
I've never skateboarded in my life.
So. I've done razor scootering before, and I never do the tricks the people do in there. So
I remember doing razor scootering. I remember doing razor scootering, but
yeah,
what are we doing? Reminiscing our childhood.
I know. I think that's all the things I can talk about when it comes to cartoons. I think when it looks back to it, we had our history when it comes to cartoons, and I definitely was fan of it, with everything that came in, from the good parts of Disney to the weird parts of Disney to now to the recent worst parts of Cartoon Network right now. I kind of don't watch Cartoon Network anymore, to be fair. Same with Nickelodeon, I don't watch it right now. So there's some good times that happen to these networks, and there's some bad times happening to these networks. But at least right now, it just feels from the way I'm seeing it, Disney Channel's rocking everything right now. They have the better cartoons compared to what Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network are having right now.
Oh yeah, Disney Channel ever since the early 2010s, they've been really rocking it. They've been on a hot streak ever since the early 2010s.
Yeah, but then, like I said, Nickelodeon still has the Loud House. We still support it to this day. We still are doing a lot of like episodes of the Loud House to talk about it and all. SpongeBob is still rocking that, and I really hope I don't know what's going on with SpongeBob, but they made 2 spin-offs, which is like Nickelodeon's definitely out of control when it comes to that direction. I don't know what they're doing.
It's not called Nickelodeon anymore. It's Spongelodeon.
It's pretty much the SpongeBob network, yeah.
It's Spongelodeon. Mm-hmm. It's Spongelodeon.
And then I'm talking about Cartoon Network as well. Cartoon Network doesn't have a hit show anymore. What We Are Bears is done. Craig and the Creek is done. Gumball is supposed to come back, and we're waiting for that news to come out whenever that comes in. But no, I mean, like, the networks that we're watching have not been promoting anything. If anything, the streaming networks are doing pretty well. Like Netflix having Hilda, for example. Disney Plus having the Proud Family, for example. So.
The main reason being is because, like, we're in a day and age where, let's face it, folks, cable is dying. Streaming services have been the norm for a very long time recently.
Yeah. Is it time to pull the plug? I mean, you probably should pull the plug from your... I mean, for me, I pulled the plug already. I put YouTube TV instead. And to be fair, YouTube TV can record everything. I remember the fact that I keep promoting YouTube TV, even though it's a lot of money, like $75 a month, or $75 a month to say. It's actually worth better than a cable package because you have your networks there, and plus you can record them at any time. So, for example, if I wanted to watch Ghost and Molly McGee, and I am currently out of town, I can record it in my DVR and watch it the next day. It is on your phone, it's on your tablet, it's on everything. So, YouTube TV definitely is a better service than having a cable company or something right now.
You know, call me old-fashioned, guys, but we still have Comcast Xfinity. Like, in this house, like, me and my family, we still have Comcast Xfinity, so...
I think I'm relying towards the internet more with Comcast than anything else. So,
but yeah, when it comes to media, when it comes to watching media, yeah, I mainly go for streaming services, of course. You know, Netflix, Disney Plus, and Max especially are my favorites.
Yeah, they're definitely. I forget about the streaming services and all. I don't think what else thinks when it comes to cartoons. I would imagine the old block of Cartoon Network, for example. Like that one definitely was the block. No, that's the thing. We forgot about that. Forgot about that. Cartoons. Yeah, that's right.
We're talking about cartoons because let me tell you, that was peak Cartoon Network right there.
Yeah, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Dexter's Lab, Powerpuff Girls, Samurai Jack, the old Samurai Jack. New Samurai Jack is good also, by the way, but they've all been like great when it comes to the old cartoons that we saw back in the day.
Like Cartoon Network was to the 1990s what Disney Channel was to the 2010s.
Right.
If you know what I'm talking about. Right. It was peak.
It was definitely what we wanted to watch with our childhoods. How do you like the fact that Adult Swim is bringing back those cartoons? Dexter's Lab, Courage the Cowardly Dog, the checkered past block that they're bringing up. It kind of sucks for Cartoon Network because they're ending their network shows at 5, but Adult Swim is having like 2-hour blocks of old cartoons. It's like having like, you know, when Teen Nick used to have like it's all in the 90s shows that Nickelodeon had, like all that, like Rocko's Modern Life, those kind of things. It would be the same thing for Adult Swim because the checkered past block that they're gonna have has your old Cartoon Network shows, and I think it's a good direction for Cartoon Network considering that Cartoon Network is currently like a dead channel right now.
Yeah. What I love about Adult Swim, why I think this is such a good move on their part, is because Adult Swim knows that the kids back in the 1990s that have watched those old cartoons, like, they've grown up. They've grown into adults. And so, because they're called Adult Swim, obviously, they're going to put those cartoons in the Adult Swim block because, you know, adults, obviously, like, they're the type that is going to stay up and watch and consume media. And so, they think that, so they figured out that, you know what, like, the adults, like, because... One thing you gotta keep in mind is that nostalgia is a huge factor in the kind of media that we consume. Like, one of the biggest grabs is nostalgia. Like, the kind of media that we've consumed when we were kids, it's a big thing. It's a huge factor in media. And so, with that, they've pretty much put old Cartoon Network shows into Adult Swim for them, I can't thank them enough.
I feel like the block definitely works. It definitely works, and I hope, like, I don't know, maybe I can watch Checkered Past eventually, and maybe I'll get into that. We also, I mean, we're gonna bring up the news eventually, probably the next episode of our Anination Podcast. there's new Rick and Morty coming out. There's new episodes of these shows coming out. We're obviously gonna bring that up. But nonetheless, Adult Swim at least is bringing back the past, which I believe Adult Swim could definitely need, considering that that block is currently dying too. Have you heard of Toonami? Toonami is currently, what kind of shows is Toonami having now? Because they had Food Wars, My Hero Academia, One Piece, and Naruto now.
Yeah.
We're not talking about Toonami anymore, which kind of is a dead channel now.
Well, actually, no, because there's this new Shinichiro Watanabe series that's coming soon.
Uh-huh.
I remember it looked really good, so I'm gonna get into that. Other than that, though, Toonami doesn't have much. I haven't watched Toonami in a long while, mainly because of the fact of how, for the most part, they tend to go back to shows that they continuously, showing us, they've continuing airing over and over again, Naruto, One Piece, all this stuff. And it's they gotta do something new. Let's say, for example, have Toonami, air shows that were air anime that were on Crunchyroll, Netflix, and all that stuff, instead of going through the old shows that we've seen over and over again from Toonami.
I mean, for Adult Swim, I don't know why, but I feel like Toonami might be dead. But I heard that there's going to be new animes coming out for Adult Swim. Also there's one horror manga artist. I forgot his name.
Junji Ito.
Junji Ito, yes, he has an anime coming out for Adult Swim, and apparently that sneak peek looks really good.
And also, FLCL has a new series. Oh,
that's right.
Out.
Fully Cooley has
a new one coming out.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Has a new...
Oh, and don't forget Rick and Morty anime.
Not gonna touch it.
Oh man, this man hates Rick and Morty now.
I used to say I quit Rick and Morty long ago.
I don't know. I don't watch Rick and Morty anymore, so I can't say much about it.
Yeah, no, it's just the humor got. The problem was not just the creator. We all know about the creator, how much of a creep he was, but also just for the fact of how, even before the stuff was revealed about the creator, I thought that the humor got really stale. Mm-hmm. It got really stale really fast.
Oh, yeah. Definitely when it comes to it. I don't know. They had a good story with the first 3 seasons of Rick and Morty, but yeah, it definitely doesn't feel like the same Rick and Morty that we know now.
It definitely doesn't.
No, it doesn't. So yeah, when it comes to cartoons and animation stuff, both of us really have our knowledge when it comes to it, from the old stuff that we watched before to what we're watching now. I think our lives have been rotating around the animation block, to say.
Yeah, needless to say, cartoons like these, the ones that we watch, animated shows in general, have pretty much shaped up how we consume media. They shaped up how we judge media, how we criticize media, especially animation and anime and cartoons and all this stuff. And I'm so glad we could put those to use in this podcast.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Besides that, by the way, we also need to bring up anime as well. So you started because I told you about anime, which is back in 2002, 2003. I don't remember.
It was back in 2007 or 2008.
Yeah, 2007, 2008. Nonetheless, he's missed out on a lot of the old nostalgia animes that I used to watch. So Sailor Moon, Pokemon, Digimon.
Now see, the part where you're wrong is that I actually did watch the old Pokemon anime.
Which one? The first season, right? Where Brock thought, what is it? Those rolls are Joe Donuts? Freaking...
Yes, the Indigo League.
Oh,
I've only seen the Indigo League. But that was back when... That was way before I even heard of the term anime. I just thought to myself, blocky cartoon or something like that.
No.
It was when I was a kid.
When I was a kid. I was 5 years old when I first watched Sailor Moon, for example. And I thought that was just is this really animated well? I like it. I'm attracted because teenage girls, for one thing. I'm a kid. What am I going to do? You see Sailor Moon, Sailor Mars, Sailor Mercury, and all those other girls. But the show was attracted to me. That's my first ever touch of anime. Besides Pokemon, because everybody thinks that Pokemon is the first anime that you watched. I think my first one definitely was Sailor Moon. I never expected Sailor Moon to be so great. I just remember the UPN block. I don't know if people know about the UPN block, if you guys know. They used to have, Sailor Moon and Pokemon in the same hour. I remember watching Sailor Moon first, and then Pokemon after that. And it's weird, because, I mostly watched Sailor Moon when I was, 5 or 6, and I was okay, Sailor Moon's over, gone. Then Pokemon came up next, and I'm and then I think it was until I was 8 or 9 when I started to see now why is all the kids so hyped about Pokemon? And then when I started watching it, then I understand why everybody was into it, because I started watching Pokemon like in a random episode recently. What in a random episode back then, and then from there on, now I understand the hype, and then I started getting into like all things about Pokemon, like the video game, the trading cards, a lot of that. Yeah. I don't know if you were into the Pokemon trading card game, but
I wasn't.
Back then we were definitely looking for that Charizard.
the only 3 Pokemon pieces of media that I have consumed when I was a kid were the Pokemon Indigo League show. Mm-hmm. I played Pokemon Snap.
Yep.
Pokemon Snap was legit. And I also watched the Pokemon first movie.
Dude, that movie was tearful. Holy shit.
Although the part where Ash
did
turns
you,
his
yeah,
stone.
yeah, I was gonna say, did you cry? I cried.
The part where Ash
How do you
turns his
not?
stone.
You tell me you have to cry. You had to literally tear up on that. I swear to God.
I actually thought to myself, how do tears end up bringing back stone?
Who gives a freaking fuck about that? Come on now. I mean, the whole sad moment. Oh, Ash is dead. Oh, everybody's crying, and I'm like, oh my God. Look, I was like 10 when I saw that, and I was definitely tearing up when I heard that. I was like, oh shit.
I mean,
no.
yeah, I felt sad, but at the same time, I was a bit puzzled.
Oh, who cares? Oh, come on. Don't think of it that way. Just think of it as a sad moment. Fuck Mewtwo. That's all I can say. Mewtwo's the most powerful Pokemon. We get it. But dude, that was just insane. Like, that was an insane like moment when we saw that. I was like, holy shit! Oh my God.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Pokemon definitely was like all the hype. I mean, it kind of sucks because like I stopped watching after Misty left. So that was like the Master Quest. After Master Quest, I kind of stopped Pokemon.
That's kind of the thing. Like the Misty era, it was the real golden era of Pokemon.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny. My friend, our friend Jess, she sent me a post about like all the moments where Ash started to like piss off Misty piss off Ash, that kind of thing.
I remember those moments.
Yeah.
Those moments were
a lot of people were thinking that those two would be a thing, and I'm like, oh, no.
They're just friends.
We were kids back then. And first off, like Misty has to take care of a gym, Brock has to take care of a gym, you know, and they had other people take care of gyms and stuff.
They're more like companions. They're colleagues.
Yeah,
they're coworkers.
Exactly. I'm not shipping the Ash Misty thing. It was cute back then, but you know, I never really.
I never saw him that way, honestly.
No. There's that one girl that actually did like Ash. I forgot her name, but it was, I think, in the I forgot what series it was. It was like 5th generation, 6th generation Pokemon.
Was it around the time where Dawn was there?
No, so it wasn't after Dawn. It was after Dawn.
Dawn.
It was after Dawn. Yeah, I forgot the name. Maybe somebody will probably bring it up on our on our Twitch chat here.
Those in the chat, please comment below and let us know. Feel free to correct us, but which is the girl that had the crush
What
on
that
Ash?
girl that had the crush on Ash?
Yeah, just what I mean. So like, comment below and let us know the name.
I remember being a more I made myself more of a Pokemon fan than a Digimon fan. So there was that. What other things that I grew up with? Oh, I think the anime that got me more into anime was Inuyasha. Like back in 2001, I was like up at 11. I was 11 years old. I was up waiting till like 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning where my parents start to sleep. And then I started watching Inuyasha, and that was a really great anime.
Oh yeah, this guy goes nuts for Inuyasha.
Man.
Like,
Okay, so it's a classic anime. I just love like all the characters that were there, like Kagome Sango, Kikyo, Inuyasha, Moroku, for example. Like all of them were great characters, and like they had a great story. And I also didn't realize it was over 100 episodes. And I was like, oh shit, oh god. But then like back then I was watching Inuyasha back then, and it was like the 30 episodes. It was the episodes that Viz can only acquire. So like it would stop around episode 30, for example, and then you get to see like Sango and Moroku start to come into the show, and then it goes back to episode 1, and I'm like, oh, what the hell?
oh my god.
Yeah, so it's weird because like, oh cool, you get to see Sango and Moroku for the very first time, and then like episode 1 starts to kick in the day after, and I'm like, what the hell? Oh shoot, I can finally see it from the beginning. And I'm like, because like it's weird because like I started watching it when like I think Kagome and Kikyo, I think when Kikyo was supposed to like possess Kagome's body or something like that. And then I love it with the fact that it just went back to the first episode. It tells me like, oh cool, Kagome is a like this time character, not like a feudal Japan character. And I'm like, oh, you get to see demons, like, was it half demon, like Inuyasha, and you get to see like old people like in their old attire. Those animes were just like absolutely amazing. So yeah, me back then, I was just like, I love that anime. It looked great. And then I think that's when I started to like see like more of the animes that, you know, I started to watch, like that Toonami was supposed to provide. Like back then, Adult Swim was not Toonami. It was just its own anime block. And then the anime block had like a lot of amazing animes like Outlaw Star. What was it? Yeah, Outlaw Star. There was also not One Piece. One Piece wasn't there back then. One Piece used to be by Foxbox. Remember that? One Piece goes like, you know, give it a. Remember that theme song? The theme song from One Piece in the Foxbox? Yeah, everyone hated that.
I never watched any One Piece, but from what I've seen, I've heard that One Piece got censored heavily by 4Kids.
Oh, it did. It totally
got the
did.
4Kids treatment.
It was supposed to be 4Kids. That's the reason why they did that. Oh my god, it was just all bad. But nonetheless, I mean, it started me watching like those other cartoons. I mean, Ghost in the Shell was in Adult Swim back then. I think the one anime that we both agreed upon that was back then in Adult Swim, Cowboy Bebop. That's when it started. That's where it started for me. Cowboy Bebop was one of the first animes I saw when Adult Swim had it. You know, because Adult Swim started in 01. That's when they had Inuyasha. That's when they had Cowboy Bebop and Outlaw Star, all airing in that network, and they all were amazing, by the way.
Yeah, like Cowboy Bebop. Cowboy Bebop is not just it's one of my favorite anime shows, and it's also one of my top favorite shows, period. Like top 10 even. It is a masterpiece of a show.
Yes. One show that came up during the Adult Swim timeline, Code Geass. That was one show. And this man, I don't know how I introduced you to Code Geass, but you're now a big fan of it for some reason.
One of my top favorite anime shows ever. Like, you know, first off, it has the most catchy opening thing I've seen, like Colors by Flow.
Oh god, this guy cannot stop when it comes to Chibu.
Yes, I could sing Chibu. I can sing Colors all day. You know?
Oh, yes. I just remember the meme. I like how our Twitch fan here just says, "I'm at Soup." Why are you at Soup? Why are you at the Soup store? You know, that's a freaking meme right there. Oh my god.
Thank you for pointing that out.
Thank you for pointing that out. Yeah. Oh my god. Awesome. Sorry, I had to bring it up. I know that we're totally out of line because like we have our Twitch chat here as well, but dude, yeah, Code Geass was definitely one show. FYI, that was definitely adult. That was definitely for adults.
That's what I love about Code Geass was that it delved into political themes and they did it so well. And also, it made you question, like, you know, it presented a commentary of how sometimes you have to fight evil with evil. You know what I mean? Right. Like, it delved into that. Like, you know, sometimes there has to be a necessary evil in order to defeat the greater evil itself. That's what I love about Lelouch, the main protagonist, who I consider to be my favorite anime character overall, because he's just so richly written. He's so well written as a character, because he's one of those, he's one of those protagonists that's like morally gray, and I do mean very morally gray, because he does evil acts, but he does it out of good intentions. Like, he wants to create a better world for his sister, so his sister could be happy, but he has to, like, sometimes, like, there are times where he has to do, like, malicious deeds in order to accomplish that. And there's a backstory as to why he does it in the first place.
My thing right here is the why it's more adultish. It's more also the fact that there's nudity in that show. So
very brief,
but there is nudity in that show, and I think that's the reason why. Well, when you watch the Adult Swim version of Code Geass, the censors definitely were there. And I'm like, wow, okay, there's a lot of stuff there. Okay, what the fuck?
Needless to say, all hail Lelouch.
Okay, this guy just gonna be all about Code Geass now because of that.
All hail Lelouch.
There were other shows that also did have some peak, like there's a lot of peak anime that also was there in Adult Swim. Like what was it? Girl Logon was actually aired that one time.
Another one of my favorites ever.
There was a lot of questionable animes that I kind of thought should be in Adult Swim, like Panty and Stocking. That never happened. Pop Team Epic was actually in Adult Swim too. But yeah.
Beef and skin?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there could be like more animes that they could bring up. It's just weird, like how Toonami doesn't really bring that up anymore. It's more like shonen animes like Naruto, My Hero Academia, for example. Yeah. And also one anime that also brought up in one other anime that also was in Adult Swim back in like 2004, 2005, Fully Cooley. was one of the first animes that I also saw back then too.
Fully Cooley.
And I didn't know. No, back then I was so weirded out. I was like so weirded out. Like, what the hell is this? Why is it so random? Why is it so random? And then now I also realize now it's a cult. This is a cult following anime. Like, oh, y'all like this because it's funny. Oh, you all, love it for some reason. Like for me back then, I was like I was not smart at all. Like I was a kid. I was like 13, 14 years old. And I'm thinking back to my head, I'm like, dude, this is so random. What makes it so like good? And then you look back at it like years later, and you're like, okay, now it makes sense why this is good.
Well, yeah, because like as wacky,
it's kind of like what was it, Scott Pilgrim and their cult following.
Yeah, because Fully Cooley, one thing to keep in mind is that like one thing to keep in mind about Fully Cooley is that like it's a show that's so wacky and over the top, but when you look at it closely, it's a show that deals with themes growing up.
Mm-hmm. So I have to say, like, this was definitely like a good time for Adult Swim, but like not right now. Adult Swim is weird when it comes to like their animes, but it definitely was a good time back then. When you got into anime, what was the first show? Like, what were the first kind of showings you saw, like that got you more into anime?
The first is Bleach, like I said. It's the one that kickstarted my love for anime.
But like after Bleach, like did you watch more shows? I know Code Geass definitely was.
Code Geass was my second.
Yeah, but there was more than that, I would imagine.
Cowboy Bebop, Haruhi Suzumiya.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's right. I forgot Haruhi Suzumiya.
Haruhi Suzumiya.
Oh shoot. Oh god, when we were all into Kyoani back then. Oh no.
We're still the Kyoani now, but we were especially big into Kyoani, especially back. Like Haruhi Suzumiya was what kickstarted our love for Kyoani.
Dude, Kyoani definitely was like the top pure like animes that we've seen. I mean, Clannad, Haruhi Suzumiya. Dude, we were huge fans of Haruhi Suzumiya. I just remember one time we were literally watching in a movie theater and watched the disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya, and we were all hyped about it.
The movie was one of those that actually surpassed the show that it was based on. Like, Disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya was one of the best.
Yeah. I would
one
say
of the best anime
I would say that too, because the second season was terrible. It's because Endless 8 was like 8 damn freaking same episodes. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
We don't talk about Endless 8.
Yeah, we don't talk about Endless 8 for sure. That's definitely not a thing from us for sure. Also, I think I also introduced you to K-On! Back then. Slice of Life anime talked about schoolgirls with a rock band. But then you also watched Bocchi the Rock, which is I would assume you would say it's way better.
Yeah, if you want a legitimately, like, honestly, you can have K-On! Like, I got a much better version of Bocchi the Rock.
Yeah, I know, but I grew up with K-On! I love Mio, I love Yui, I love the Ritsu and everybody there. It's like one of my favorite animes. Definitely one where I was so obsessed with. Remember conventions, like in Fanime, for example? I would go to the K-On! gathering, take pictures of like all the cosplayers, and I was like, yeah, that was me being a fan. I'm sorry. I was like, yeah, it's me being a fan.
Yeah, honestly, like, hot take. Like, I'm not that big into K-On! Like, I can see the hype, like, where others are coming from. I personally am not a huge fan of it because I feel like, the rock band aspect gets overshadowed by the cute moe stuff like
there's so many moe back
like Tea Time and all this stuff, and I feel like there could have been a more balance between
I don't care. It was a lot of cute moments with the girls, and I was pretty happy about that. So that was me back then, like getting into like the moe anime back then. But that was me, 18, 19 years old. So yeah.
And more power to you. More power to your younger self.
I know. There's a lot of I think it was also back then that I got into cosplay, but we'll talk about that at a different time.
Yeah.
2010s. I don't know what other animes I can also bring up. I mean, I have to look back at like my huge list of animes I got into watching. I mean, Kyoani definitely picked up the pace when it comes to animes like Kyoka, Nichijou, like what was it, the Chunibyo anime.
Yes.
Yeah.
Violet Evergarden.
Oh man, that's a good one.
Violet Evergarden is a masterpiece of an anime show. I consider it to be like the best Kyoani series I've seen.
Yeah.
But in terms of best Kyoani project, that honor goes to A Silent Voice.
Oh god, that was a good one. That's a recent movie, by the way.
Yeah, like, I love both the movie and the manga series.
Mm-hmm. How about Makoto Shinkai back then? There was also like a lot of shorts that he made before, like what was it?
5 centimeters
per second. Yeah, all of those movies were like amazing. Before Your Name became popular, there was also 5 centimeters per second, 60 minutes long, and also The Garden of Words. The thing is that it could be just shorts, but the thing is like it's animated really well that made me like say, yo, I love your movies. I don't care. I love your movies. Like you have Shinkai, you have Mamoru Hosoda, who made Girl Who Left the Time, Summer Wars. There's also, Hayao Miyazaki. Everyone knows Hayao Miyazaki. He's always a masterpiece when it comes. It always has a masterpiece when it comes to his anime movie. His anime movies, yes.
Princess Mononoke to me is peak Hayao Miyazaki. Like it's in my.
I think so. Yeah, that was his earlier ones. I have to say, Spirited Away definitely is one of his best ones too. You can't really compare like the movies he has. They're all good. They're all good. Like there's no bad movie that Miyazaki has. And I mean, yeah, there you go.
If you're asking what is a Hayao Miyazaki dub, my short answer is there is none.
There is none. There is definitely. We might dub. They're all dubs.
No, dud. Like
oh,
D-U-D.
dud. Oh, I thought you said dubs.
If you're asking me what is a Hayao Miyazaki dud, I would have to say, here's my straight answer, no.
Yeah, there is none. There is none for sure. And same with Makoto Shinkai. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Makoto Shinkai, Your Voice, Weathering with You will probably be the iffy one. I'm like, oh.
No, Weathering with You was Weathering with You was the weakest one. Mainly because of the ending and how it ended.
Yeah. That's why I kind of said, like, why did you drown Tokyo for love? And I'm like, why would you do that?
But hey, like, Makoto Shinkai, I will say this. Like, he is the first anime director to get me to cry over a small chair.
Oh, freak, Suzume? Yeah,
Suzume.
So you did cry in that movie.
My God! You did it! You made me cry over a chair!
Oh, he cried in the movie. Oh.
Suzume is so beautiful.
Ooh, your name made me tear up. That was a great movie. Yeah. I mean, Silent Voice definitely was that movie. Oh. If you're talking about tearjerkers, I have one anime that will probably make you cry. Anohana.
Oh my God!
Look at him!
I haven't seen it. I still haven't seen it.
How dare you? I thought you saw it. How dare you?
Okay,
oh my God!
I get Anohana is the hype. I get why it's popular. I just haven't seen it myself.
I thought you saw it, and now I'm disappointed.
No, it was the other one.
I'm disappointed with you now.
The other one I saw was Anonatsu, I believe. Was it Anonatsu?
Yeah, Anonatsu the Matsuri, but it totally was weird. I mean, it was sad and stuff like that, but that one is weird.
The red-haired alien girl.
I didn't like it. No, I didn't like it. No, it was my favorite. Versus Anohana, you can't beat out that one freaking classic anime. It was so good. Oh my God. How do you not have that in your lineup? How do you not have it in your lineup? I swear to God. People know me. It's weird because like when we talk about good anime, when I talk about good anime, I also talk about idol anime, which you don't care about.
Yeah, I'm just
you're not into Love Live or Idol Master. I'm not an Idol Master fan.
The closest thing to idol anime that I'll ever get into is Oshinoko.
Yeah, okay, but that just talks about the dark side of the idol industry.
Exactly why I adore Oshinoko. And why you need to go see it immediately.
But it also does reflect the dark side of acting too.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I absolutely adore about that series is that it delves into the dark side of Hollywood, for example. Like not really like this is Japan's own version of Hollywood.
So for idol anime, for example, I mean, they always put up the positive parts when it comes to the idol anime. Like, I mean, I saw Muse, Awkwars, and a little bit of Nichigasaki. I've been more towards the Awkwars and Muse side anyway. And they've always been, like, uplifting because, like, the music is great. The story is good also because it's like, oh, a school's about to close. You have to be a perfect idol in order for you to save it, that kind of thing. And I saw the first Love Live movie, the one where Muse went to New York. That was really nice. I watched the Awkwars girls also. I haven't seen the movie from the Awkward side, but all the idols from Love Live have just been awesome, and it's just me being a fan. And it just sucks because like being a fan, you pretty much went to idol hell, and you really went to idol hell because all the merchandise I have from that.
The sky is idols. I swear
oh my
to
God! I mean, I have my favorite ones, which to be fair, we actually might decorate. By the way, we have a decorating episode coming up real soon, the Anination Podcast, and I probably will bring some of my idols, and I'll tell you which ones are my favorite from Awkwards and Muse.
Watch this guy go in a 2-hour rave over idols.
Hey, I went to an Awkwards concert. That was awesome. Like 2 times, or maybe 3 times. 3 times. Literally 1 2-hour show, 1 30-minute show, and like a lot of other stuff. Yeah.
The thing about idol stories is that, like, for me, like I like a couple of idol stories, but those with a twist or ones that do delve into like the layers, the dark side of of idol stories. Like I just mentioned to you how Oshinoko is immediately like one of my favorite animes already, and favorite mangas. I also love the manga. Mm-hmm. Also, I love Backstreet Goku Dolls. Remember Backstreet Goku Dolls? God. It was so hilarious.
So stupid.
It was so funny. I actually
loved it.
That's
so stupid. No.
Like you got three Yakuza, and they have to be idols. It was like comedy gold. It's comedy gold.
I didn't like it. I didn't like it a lot. I didn't like it. Maybe you like the comedy when it comes to the idol shows. Maybe I care more for the story, but this is just like, oh my god.
Maybe it's because I'm not really into like idol stuff, but it's just like that's why I love it. It's just like it parodies idol culture.
I guess
it parodies idol
whatever.
culture.
Whatever. I mean. There's a lot of themes when it comes to animes, but to be fair, we just pretty much listed out all of our animes that we got into and stuff like that. So know me as the person who loves Love Live, and I know like people like from the Trash Taste podcast, I could just reference them. Gart, get into Love Live. There is an Isekai Love Live anime series that you really love. I know you love Isekai. And I'm telling you,
get into it.
No, he's saying that he's watching 3 episodes of it, so I'm assuming because like right now the Love Live Isekai is looking great. I like it right now. I love the direction that they're doing with the Muse girls. Plus I love the direction that they're doing with the Awkward girls. And one thing about this, my favorite was it Awkward girl is the main character. So I'm like, yes, Yohane-chan. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, I mean, we're still living on with anime, cartoons, everything. To say the least, this is why we made this podcast. This is why we changed it up a bit. We have a lot of things to talk about when it comes to cartoons and things like that. You already listened to like an hour-long rant of like all the cartoons and anime that we've talked about. And we're going to talk a lot more when it comes to like things that pop up in anime in news recently, those kind of things. But yeah, that's why this first episode was just more of like our introduction, our talks when it comes to the anime, cartoons and stuff like that. And yeah, you get to see more about who we are as people who love cartoons and anime.
Yeah, and we're so excited to share this with you all, the people who watch us. Like, we do humbly thank you so much for your love and support for our podcast, despite the fact that it got off to a rocky start at times.
No, that's just more for the Twitch stream. Like I said, we are doing edited versions of the podcast. Watch that on YouTube. You guys will probably love that more.
No, but like in terms of like people who watch our Twitch stream.
Oh yeah,
we do apologize for the technical difficulties, and we're trying to.
This is our first time. This is our first time we're doing this. Okay, this is the first time we're doing this. So we had technical difficulties with our Sony camera, for example. That's a camera that we were thinking about using for like the whole thing. We might switch to webcam later, depending if it does happen again. But we have 2 weeks to wait for because you're gonna be out for next week.
Yes,
I wanted to record next week, but you're out next week.
Yeah, unfortunately, to all those watching, I'm going to be out of town next week. I'm going with a friend of mine to Super Nintendo World.
God. Again?
Yeah, man.
My God.
It's become my own Disneyland. It's become our Disneyland.
So what? You're not going to D23 anymore?
D23 is next year, bro.
Okay.
What you talking about?
I'm talking about Disneyland. Let's go to Disneyland. Me and Jess will probably go to Disneyland while you go to Nintendo World or something.
Yeah, dude. Like Disneyland, the thing is, Disneyland, it's become much more expensive. So the price, it's about the price.
I know, but at the same time, Disneyland is like wholehearted for me. I love to ride Space Mountain, and now the new Tiana's ride. I love Pirates of the Caribbean.
I love Disneyland too, and I would love Disneyland even more if the prices drop significantly. If that'd be the case, I'd go every year. But as it is now, like with Disneyland being so expensive nowadays, it's become a bi-yearly thing for me.
Well, nonetheless, have a fun time. I'm still waiting for our time to go, but you know my situation.
I totally get it, and hey, like, I wish you the best in terms of that.
Yeah. I mean, right now, I'm hoping this podcast helps out. And for those who are watching right now, thank you all for checking us out. We have a lot of things planned up, by the way, for this channel. We have a Twitch, we have a YouTube, but we also do have things coming up like a Patreon for you guys to also see things behind the scenes, and also a Discord server that we're going to also work with as well. We'll get that going, like while you're out, I guess.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I know.
The Wednesday after, you're gonna see some more talks from us. You're gonna see much more podcast
and then we'll fix up the problems when it comes to the cameras and stuff. At least right now, it's recording really well, so that tells you like, oh, we finally fixed it, I guess. Hopefully,
yeah,
fingers
definitely.
crossed. Yeah, it's more of the heat and everything. If it gets cooler in here, it'll be much better to do. But yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, again, we'll be out for 2 weeks. But if you guys have noticed around the room, we have shelves here. We have shelves here. We have shelves there. Nothing. Yeah, it's definitely bleak. Like nothing sounding. Why are we putting like these shelves here for? Well, we're going to actually start doing some decorating around here. So in 2 weeks, we're going to be live again here on the Anination Podcast. We're going to be decorating our stuff. Omid's going to bring some stuff here. I'm going to bring some stuff here that shows our love and respect to anime and animation. So, like, bring your favorite cartoon stuff. Bring it over here. Bring some, like, wallpapers if you want to bring some wallpapers here.
More than happy
it's a lot. It's a lot of things that we can do to decorate everything. Maybe some... I might even think about bringing LED lights because lighting here is... It's fine and all, but we could probably bring some, like, better lights. We'll see.
Oh, yeah.
It's our first time trying this new podcast out, this video podcast, and thank you all for those who are watching on Twitch. Thank you all for checking us out. Sorry for the technical difficulties that happened throughout the whole entire Twitch stream, but like I said, we did take the footage. We have the recordings, so to say the least, we have everything all set for an edited version that'll be coming up on YouTube in probably like a week or probably like in the weekend or probably next week. We'll see. But yeah, how do you feel about having our first podcast, sir?
Let me tell you, like, this is definitely a exciting start for me. Like, it feels so good to do this again, but on a much grander scale, because like I said before, this is something I thought of us doing, like, even during the LoudCasa Talks era, which is like, I wish we could expand upon, like, talking about more than just Loud House when it comes to animation, and would you know it? Wish has been granted.
Yes, it's been granted, and definitely live, too, because we're finally face to face, not like in a video conference room together.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like one of those where we like have two video all together. I understand why we did this just because the pandemic happened. So
yeah, but now that we've gotten past
technically it's subsided.
I mean, we're still in the pandemic technically, but we've gone past the fear.
Right. If anything, if we get sick, we know what to do. And who knows? Like, say, for example, if I end up getting it again, then we'll do a video podcast instead. You have other options now. But now we're safe. We're all fine. We're doing live podcasts no matter what. So it turned out to be all great from all of us here. Yes. I have to say, yeah, definitely amazing time that we're doing this. And in 2 weeks, we'll do another recording. And hopefully you guys subscribe to us. For those who are watching on Twitch, make sure you follow us on Twitch so you get to see more of our anime news talking pretty much. And for those who are watching on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell button so you guys can be notified when we'll be on for the next edited podcast and some highlights. We're planning to put up highlight videos like what we've discussed when it comes to anime. We'll put that also in our video playlist as well. And also follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Audio podcasts are also going to be available, so you guys can also listen to that as well. But that's it for us here. Thank you very much for checking out, again, first episode of our Anination Podcast. Definitely was a fun ride, and hopefully we get to fix up those bugs soon. And yeah, thank you guys for checking us out, and that's it for us.
Yes, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. And check us out the Wednesday after.
All right. Thank you, guys. Bye. Bye.